Well, political parties have knocked on doors, kissed babies, attended community meetings, poured millions of rands into posters, T-shirts, adverts and rallies, all in a bid to convince you to give them your vote. What does it take to run a successful campaign? Which parties have had the most compelling message? Tonight, communications specialist Makhosi Getiwa joins me to discuss who has ticked the right boxes from a communications and public relations perspective. Very warm evening and welcome to you.
Thank you for having me.
Who's done it right? Who's done it the best?
Look, let's start here. A political party that will do well in an election has to energize its base and also appeal to independence. Okay, so if we look at the ANC, I think Cyril Ramaphosa, the person, not the party, but Cyril Ramaphosa himself, has been able to energize the voting base, the support base of the ANC.
Probably pulled down by that list, right? I mean, that's not helping, is it?
Yes, it's not helping, but what's the alternative for people who consider themselves ANC voters?
Yeah.
If you look at the DA, I think Mmusi Maimane has had trouble connecting with the base of the DA.
Why? What's he
look, I mean, I think many people would say that he's being undermined by some people inside the DA, but also I think to his credit, he has been able to appeal to independence. That's why they're running Johannesburg and Tshwane, otherwise they wouldn't be able to. The interesting political party, in my view, is the EFF, because it seems like they are not worried about independence or people who are outside of their base. They appeal to their base. They energize their base. But if you look at
this, it helps when you know what your focus is.
Of course, yes, it does. I mean, look, the EFF, in my view, is looking at 2029 to take power in 2029. I think they realize that they don't have a chance with Cyril Ramaphosa still in place. But also, their strategy is to grow their own timber. They are going to universities, institutions of higher learning. They are growing their own voters there, that in 5 to 10 years' time, that those voters will sweep them to power. But as regards appealing to independence, they're doing badly there because their political tactics are not for everybody's taste.
What sort of language should you use? Because many say that EFF will put people off because of their rather divisive language. I mean, does that help or hinder a vote?
Look, a divisive message sometimes works. Donald Trump is president of the United States not by unifying. He's a president of the United States by dividing, right? If you take a party like BLF, for instance, very divisive in their approach, but it's working for them. They are getting traction, and the media follows them because anything can break up in their events or whatever. So the media will always be there, give them airtime, and that's exactly what they need. I don't think they have too much money, but they are able to make themselves visible because they are using the media. But having said that, all political parties in South Africa, in my view, are operating as if this was still 2009. Everybody has a smartphone. Many people are on Facebook. Many people are on Twitter. If you go through your timeline, you don't see anything that jumps at you that is a political message.
Why? I mean, that's
they're stuck
mistake.
in 2009. They want ENCA to be there, cover their events live. They want SABC. They are still in that mindset when not many people are watching TV these days compared to what it was before. Now people are spending most of their time on smartphones.
So how does
that's where you find
wrong?
them.
I mean, where's the fantastic advice coming from?
Look, in 2017, I was head of strategy for one political campaign, the Lindwe Sisulu campaign. We did not have money. We started late. But within weeks, we had jumped many campaigns to become number 3. That's because we used the mainstream media and we used social media. People are on social media. If you go through your Facebook, I mean, there must be messages that jump at you on Facebook, but that's not happening.
And what about posters and signs jumping at you? And what's the look? I mean, there Julius Malema's got a big grin, Cyril Ramaphosa's got a big grin. What is it that works on that sort of visual?
That works. The posters work because, the worst thing that can happen to a political party contesting an election is that nobody says anything about you. You're completely ignored. So to be top of mind on voters, amongst voters, you have to be out there. They must see your messages. They must see your campaign paraphernalia. They must hear you on radio. They must see you on television. They must see you on social media. And many political parties make the mistake of being too cautious. You cannot win an election by being cautious and and by being guarded. You have to be out there. Sometimes you can even use controversy, because not everybody is put off by controversy. I've just made an example with PLF, for instance.
Spoken about there, not at all,
Yes,
regardless of what it is.
Yes.
I mean, in that line, I don't know if you heard the interview with my two previous guests, Mr. Manye and Matsuneng. I mean, what do you make of their message? Do they stand a chance?
They allowed you to reckle them. They allowed you to reckle them. Instead, and you're doing your job by reckling them. What they needed to do to deflect, pivot back to their messages. Because now I heard Mr. Motsoeneng talking about the SABC, which doesn't help him at all. So he should have avoided the bad stuff and go back to his message and drum his message. Even if you ask him questions that annoy him, just go back, stay on the message, because that is what people want to know. What are you going to do for them? If you want to be elected to run the country and you're busy defending sometimes things that are indefensible, it doesn't help you.
What do you think should be seen out and about now in the run-up to the elections? We've got 30 days to go.
I'm very sorry that we haven't had a meaningful debate between the leaders of the three top parties. I'm very sorry about that, and I'm sorry to say that I think the media, you've allowed politicians to get away with it, because you have to demand that they come for a debate, but instead, when they go do the easy stuff. Okay, the easy stuff is to go shaking hands.
It's a platform for them, isn't it?
And you have constant cameras following them everywhere they go. They know that there will be a Siyangoba rally or Tselatupa rally or whatever, and you'll come and cover those things, live, which is basically you are taking people who are at home, you are taking them into the stadium to be part of what is happening there. And to the viewer sitting at home, they see it as if it's an endorsement of what is happening there. So I think that for me, what I would have wanted to see was the media insisting on a debate, because a debate then gives the voters the platform to compare this jobs plan, the jobs plan of the ANC, how does it differ to the DA or the EFFs? Which one do I think will work better for me? But instead, what's happening is door-to-door campaign where they go, talk to people, and there is no one to moderate on behalf of the people, because the people rely on the media to ask the tough questions. Exactly, it's free advertising, basically.
Well, loved hearing your advice. Mr. Gosini, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
That's our show for tonight. News is next.